The Thing That Couldn't Die on Blu-ray. This is my day 30 of 31 in my 31 days of horror. Look at this awesome artwork on the poster. It's crazy. So this movie is from 1958, and it's 69 minutes long, and it's actually another one that was in widescreen. All right, there's definitely going to be spoilers in here, so turn back now if you don't want to see them. But I imagine that's probably why you're here. So I'm just going to go through this thing like it's a book club, and it's my turn, and I'm just pointing out stuff I thought about it. So you have this young girl who has the ability to use this fork stick to find water and other things, and she's just found what she thought was like a water vein, so they're going to dig for it, but she ends up that she thinks it's something else. So these people keep using her to find things, and
here's where I feel it strongest.
she thinks it's water, like I said.
But Aunt Flavia? No, don't! What's wrong, Jessica? Don't dig here. Please don't. There's something evil down there.
Maybe it's gold, the root of all evil.
Uh,
Come on, start digging.
No, it's not gold.
May I
Leave it
remark?
alone.
That's what this guy
May I
says.
remark that superstition also leads to delusion?
So everyone's like, hey, you use your powers to find stuff. And then she finds stuff. And then she emphasizes things where she used her powers to find it. And then they all start doubting her. So she basically gets used and abused this entire movie. And this guy, he's like, she was just 13 when I went away to college. And he's just like sitting there staring at her. And it's like, oh my gosh. And so since everybody's super mean to them,
You're all horrible.
or to her,
I hope you all die. I hope a tree falls on you. Linda.
I was hoping it would have killed someone, but it didn't. Anyway, so this is where we find out that she has some kind of like power or something, and they're all just like, they're using her, abusing her, and they're like, use your power to find stuff. And then she finds something, and they're like, no, you didn't really find what you think you found. And then she like basically causes a curse to just like get this tree to fall on everyone, and then everyone's still like, yeah, you don't have any powers. It's just like, are you not like paying attention to anything that's going on here? So they dig in the spot where Jessica said not to dig because there's something evil down there, and they find this chest. And then this lady, who I think is the character that I despised the most in this movie, but she has some kind of funny lines. I don't think they're supposed to be funny though.
Gold. It must be gold. Does anybody ever bury anything else? Oh, bless Jessica.
It's like Hillary Clinton a little bit. Anyway, it's like, it's gotta be gold. Does anyone ever bury anything else? It's like, yeah, people do bury other things. Sometimes they bury a dead animal, or like not gold, or you know, like rum. Even there's so many other things people could bury. So she's just like, it's treasure. It has to be treasure. It's like me when I was digging for things in the yard when I was little. It's just like every little thing I found, I'm like, it's pirate gold. So they find this chest that has like an inscription on it that's like, if you open this, your immortal soul is in danger. And this lady's just like, yeah, whoopee, treasure, yeehaw. And then Jessica, the young lady who originally found it, super uncomfortable with it. Look at this.
I don't want it in the house. What? Do you expect me to leave it in the field? I won't stay in the house with it. But Jessica, you're acting like a child.
So it's like, look. The girl who can find stuff with a stick. She can find water. She found this chest. She like cursed a tree to fall down. And she's like, I don't want to be here. I think it's evil. And they're just like, you're an idiot. It's just like, you guys are so inconsistent with when you believe her. So you think at this point where she literally led the thing to where they found the chest, that they would at least start to like trust her. But they're just, it's like they use and abuse her and just doubt her. But then when they need her, they're like, hey, go use your power. But then like when they don't need her, they're just like, you're being a child. So it's like, she's kind of having a rough go. So suddenly the movie is going through very great lengths to prove one of their hired hands to be a total dirtbag. And he goes over here and just starts spying on this girl. Look at that. So she comes out onto the porch to look at the sky and play with her ribbon of her little see-through jacket thing. And of course that creepy guy's out smoking and watching her. And she sees him and she's like, oh, nope. Yep, cover yourself up with that see-through thing. Good job. So then the dude goes up and tries her doorknob. And she's sitting there, she's all worried. The guy's like trying to get into the door. And she just like covers herself up in her bed. And it's just like, get this girl a gun. They live like out in the country. It's like, are there no guns around here? I thought country people had guns. Anyway, she just sits there like, she's like, ooh, I hope nothing happens to me. I guess I'll just pull the covers up and hope for the best. It's like, I don't know. Come on, so get this girl a gun. Meanwhile, the big dumb Lenny character of this movie decides to just break open the chest, where the attractive man who went off to college, who said that the girl was 13 last time he saw her and now he's really interested in her when he's back, said that he's going to go get the college professor to come back so when they open it, he can authenticate whatever's in there. And this dude busts open this chest anyway, thus negating the other guy's trip. And look what he finds! Ah! I feel like that music is in the Creature from the Black Lagoon, or possibly maybe every movie. But look at this. There's a head in a box. What could it all mean? Turns out whoever he stares at, he basically gains power over them. So then the guy shows up. But the reason he got in this room is because this guy went into the ladies' room and cut open her purse with a knife and took the key out. So just another thing establishing that he's a total dirtbag. And I think they do that on purpose because this big broody guy, he's like, one more step and I'll kill you. And it's like, dude, that guy's way bigger than you. Maybe just like run away. I don't know. I mean, I guess points for being scrappy, but he pulls the knife out, totally gets overpowered, and this guy gets him, who's now under control of the head in the box. But I think it's interesting that right before his death, they were almost like building a case that it's okay that he dies. Like they're making it so that, I don't know, it's just like, oh, well, one more dirtbag off the streets. So I think it's interesting how these movies, they try to make it so, I mean, sometimes innocent people die for sure, but it seems like very often when someone dies, they start painting a picture that you're like, you don't really like them, and then they get offed. One thing I like about this head is that it like can't really talk. It just opens its mouth, and it's like, thank you for not having it talk, because it definitely doesn't have any lungs. So it like looks at them in the eyes and just like, and so you just assume that it's like communicating with them somehow. By the way, that's a really well-designed little head that he's carrying around. It actually really does look like the actor. Some of this cool body-dragging music. Alright, rewound it a little bit. But listen to this good body-dragging music. It's like little piano notes come in. The rest of the soundtrack doesn't really do that, but it does right here. Okay, so this lady hears all this noise downstairs.
Jessica!
So she starts screaming for Jessica across the way in the cabin.
Jessica!
So she comes out and she's like, what is it?
Hurry up! What's the matter? Downstairs! Something horrible has happened! Hurry up!
So, all right. So she's like, other totally helpless woman, come help me. Also a totally helpless woman. Again, it's like, you guys live in the country. Like, I thought everyone in the country, like, at least in movies, always has like a double-barreled shotgun. It's like the thing. So I don't know if it's because they're in California or what, but it's like, where are your guns? Like, in the 50s in America, like, did people not just have like an old like farm gun around? Like, she's just like, oh, there's noises, I'm gonna start screaming out the window so that this girl, who is also unarmed and can do nothing, can come help me. So anyway, this part, it's just like, this, it's not gonna help. She's not gonna do anything. This movie does a really good job of seamlessly switching between the head being carried and the actual actor. Like, look at this. So he lifts it up so he can look through, and then it cuts, does a close-up to like an actual guy with makeup on. Like, they do a really good job of picking, like, so he can carry the head around, but then suddenly switching it. And it still looks like it's like dark down there, right? So it still looks like he's holding it, but obviously it's just like a visual deception. So that's one thing that's really fun about this. Here comes my absolute favorite shot of this whole movie. But of course, all the people come home from going to the university, and the same guy that was like bugging her for being superstitious with her little fork stick thing that she finds water with, he basically like bullies her into being like, use the stick, dip it in the blood, go find the injured person. Look at this, is my favorite shot. Look at this. Yes. That's such just like a perfect classic horror shot. I love when they do that. But yeah, that was just another example of them being like, hey, remember all those times we didn't believe you and we made fun of you and we called you a child? We need you to use this thing and go do your power again because it suits us. It's like, oh my gosh, this girl. So then some kind of cleric with this thing, where it's basically a cross on top of an anchor with the fleur-de-lis on top of it, basically curses this guy because he's like a devil worshiper. They're gonna cut his head off and they're gonna bury his head somewhere else and his body somewhere else, and he's gonna stay alive forever, and that'll be his like punishment. And then the guy basically vows that once he comes back, he's gonna just unleash evil on the world, and that will be his whole goal. So it's like, okay, that's a good villain. I get it. So this is like a flashback. The girl like wandered in the woods and then passed out on the ground, and now it's showing like a medieval flashback, which is pretty cool. But next, it's going to show something that completely blew my mind, because in most like unrated movies of this age, you don't see this, but also in most movies that are like PG-13 and below, you don't really see this. They're going to show a decapitation. I was so delighted and surprised to see it. And it's just casual. They're just like, yeah, we're just going to chop it off. Normally they just have it like look away, or the camera pans up or something. There you go. They just casually chop it off. Like, here you go, let's put it in the box. Dang, that was good. Like, just, I was so surprised that they just showed that. Normally, like I said, the camera's like, look away or look up, or show someone's face, be like, like, but they're just like, nope, we're just going to show it. Head's going to go flying off. And yeah, I don't know if, it's hard to tell with the resolution, but like, here's like the neck. I don't know if there's like blood all over right here. I think that would have been awesome. It's probably a bit too much for this kind of a movie, but if it was a greater resolution, maybe we'll be able to see. But we're going to see both that head and that body later, and they're going to look great. So after her little vision of the past, she finds the body of the dirtbag guy in the grave that he dug himself while he was digging for the treasure. And then the cops arrive, and it's like, okay, cool, we're gonna be safe. Her fiance even shows up to be like, yeah, cops are here, they're staying all night, like everything is good. And so she hears another noise and gets up to check it. And imagine if you opened your window and saw this. And then he starts doing like the whispering thing. Anyway, this is that would be really freaking scary. He's just like, oh, let's see what's outside. Oh my gosh. And then now she's possessed, and she does some horribly mean things after this. This is a pretty curious shooting here with the police. Look at that. Shoot him in the leg. And they get him. Okay, so the reason that's curious, other than that it's just time in the movie for another body to hit the floor, is that the police did like a warning / wounding shot like in his leg, and then they killed him when he kept advancing. I just thought that was interesting, because that's not really a thing with police now. Like they don't just like shoot in limbs. Like if they're shooting with lethal intent, and if they're using lethal intent, the idea is that they feel that their life and other people's lives are in danger. So I just thought it was interesting that in this older movie that it was portrayed as the cop doing like a shoot to wound / warn kind of a thing. Very interesting. So then sadly Jessica gets possessed by the head too, and she's out using her powers to go find the body. And as they're walking through the trees, I'm like, wait a minute, the head and the body are gonna get reunited, and the curse is gonna get ended because that happens. And then earlier you see the fancy hair guy that went to college like putting a revolver in his pocket, and it's like, all right, I've got it solved. They're gonna connect the head and the body, and it's gonna be scary, and he's gonna shoot him, and he's gonna die. And I'm like, all right, sweet. So I'm just like rubbing my hands together, just like, all right, here we go. We're gonna shoot this demon devil guy, and it's gonna be great. So then they bring the coffin in and put it in their living room floor, you know, like one does. But look at this is so cool. Ah! Look at this headless body. It looks so good. And the 40th scream of the movie. Look at that. It even has like the chopped part. Ah, it's so good. Let's give Sleepy Hollow a run for its money. Look at it. It even stands up. Look at it. She's going to come down and end this curse. There she goes. And it's like cut scene. And then I think it's cool as she like sets the head on it, he like kind of lowers his chin like it's getting set on there, and it's already been switched. And then he opens his eyes, it's like, this is such a good switch. But this guy, the cool thing is when he's awake, like it's suddenly he like knows about all these people. He's like, I want to spill somebody's blood, you know, like to kind of inaugurate my return and my spread of evil. And he starts like looking at all the people that he would basically kill first, and he's like, nope, you're too old, your blood has too much alcohol in it because you drink too much, and he like goes around and he just like knows all this stuff about them. And this is where I was totally wrong. So this guy pulls a revolver out of his pocket, and I'm just like, yeah, he's gonna shoot him. It's just like they end the curse, and he's mortal now or whatever, you know, like other movies. It's like, let's do this. I was like, yeah, I got him. He's gonna be all surprised, and so I'm like, oh. So then that happens, and I'm sitting here watching the movie, and I'm like, okay then. I have no idea what's gonna happen, because according to this movie, the curse should be over now, which means he should be mortal. So I'm just like on the edge of my seat, like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And he busts out the little talisman thing, shoves it in his face. He starts crying and falls back into his casket. And then all the people that were under his power are freed. So it's like, oh, okay. And then look at what they find. A skeleton. So all the people that were possessed all say sorry to all the people that they were mean to. And this guy, oh, he's got a little chunk of hair hanging down there. So nice. He puts the talisman back on the girl's neck. And
Let this protect us both.
we end the movie on a cleavage shot. So I thought this movie was awesome. It was just a good time. It was only 69 minutes long. It's a totally good Halloween movie. And it was fun to have this old curse with the head and possessing people. And then, of course, it ends good and people get together. And, you know, there wasn't a house burning down, so we didn't check that box. But we end the movie on this cleavage shot, so I guess that's good. But yeah, I liked it. I thought this was a good one. So anyway, this has been day 30 of 31 in my 31 days of horror. So thanks. Let me know what you think of this. And also let me know what you might want to see next. Appreciate it. See you on the next one. Bye.